I would think I was tired of stroking his ego. You know, I think I got tired of stroking his ego and always playing towards his energy. Sometimes sometimes I want to continue with my lunacy. Like, I just want to continue with it because it feels good, Like, when I think about him, I see colors. When I feel his auric field, I feel stable, you know. And I've always had that dependability on Jesus. Just the frequency of his work. That's it. Like, I've studied his work a lot and enough to know his character. And now I would like for my next phase, because I'm going to talk about America's next phase and like mine. And I believe that my next phase in my upbringing is kind of dissecting who I am without the work, who I am in the darkness, and understanding the femininity that I have in endurance. I think that femininity is a richness. I don't think it has anything to do with being neat and tidy and wearing perfume and heels. Like, I feel like to be feminine, what the system handed you guys was feminines are docile and feminines are elegant and feminines buy a lot of shit. Feminines are hairless. Feminines, they handed us all of these things and we didn't get to figure out our own bodies and our own vessels with their rules. They told me that when I have pimples and not done, that's ugly. Like, that's rigid. That's rigid on the site. But that feeling that you get of displeasure because something ocularly with your eyes doesn't align up with the standards that you project as beauty, right? Or like what is handed to you in this beautiful package, right? So in my world, when I break out in hives, I realize I'm allergic to something. My levels in my medicine have to go up, and a stressful event is occurring in the stars. A stressful event is occurring in the stars. And then after I figure out it's a stressful event, I go to the meteorologist and I'm like, yo, if you guys don't report back to me, I don't know where it needs to be fixed because you guys are underwater. If you are so far away from me and I cannot hear you, amplify your stadium. You are here. I'm going to provide resources and light for the areas who have Christ as their Redeemer, Mother Mary as their mother. I will protect you. I got you. But if your mother is Oshun, Yemaya, these ladies, without the context through Mary, we have to have a discussion. I get too much disrespect in the dark for you guys to treat me like that. Like I don't exist. My kids. I've done a lot for you guys' spirits to free you from the masculine urges and needs that you project on the society at hand. I've done enough studying of your culture to realize that I don't want to be a part of it. So if the beauty standards is perfectly clean skin, I'm gonna let my pores get bigger. I'm gonna let my nature rise and say that there's issues because I don't adhere to that. My body knows something is wrong when it starts aching a little bit. I can fix an ache, but if it gets down to a wound, a festering sore where you cannot stop watching porn, you cannot stop gambling, you cannot stop lusting, you cannot stop being on the thing, talking about this one, like you ordering takeout for the night. You treat my daughters disposably after you've placed your seed in a bag and thrown it in a garbage. What's up with that? If your seed is rotten, don't put it in the womb. I think that's a fair amount of fair communication between us, men and women. If you know that your shit is sour, stay away from me. If you know that your seed will not produce the highest fruit for me to get Christ energy here, yeah, it's best don't talk to me. I'm not interested in compromising with any man. I'm not interested in compromise. I'm not interested in compromise. I'm interested in protection of what I love. That's it. I do not compromise when it comes to protecting those I love. I don't compromise. You want me to compromise in love? A giant asteroid is headed to a city near you. My communication with the spirits is telling them, line up behind me. Period. I got you. If you really fuck with me, I've got your back. I will make sure that nothing comes. I will be Captain America shielding your town over there and that town over there and that town using the intellect of our boys and our men and our feminine who play sports as well on a different level. But it's not about brute force, but it's about grounding those competitions. It's not all about the men's sports like normal. We watch the women's sports in the back. Sometimes women's sports look a little gossipier than men's sports. Men want to hype up each other to be like, yeah, you're the best. You're the best in the ball sack. Ooh, you're the best. You're the best in the ball sack. QB throws the play. The play lands in the goal. The goal is to get a seed of Christ over the river, over the rainbow, to birth them in this generation so that every one of our generation has a Christ figure. So if you guys get off of step with me, step with Jesus, all you have to do is kindly usher them negative energies out, shut the door, and pray. Communicate. Use hand signs, mudras. Say that you're ready. So we have reached a spiritual precipice at which we have at our front door a galactic problem, right? We have a galactic problem at the front door. The entities that are protectors of the universe has come here to communicate. They're telling us that they're Something's about to take us off the server, right? They're saying that there is a city-sized asteroid, right? Breaking up into our atmosphere. That's not the main thing. It's the city-sized asteroid is actually tons and tons of different extraterrestrial people coming home to heal the land or destroy the land. The balance of I took the consciousness from my kids because I don't want my kids' consciousness being harmed. I took the consciousness from their uh, world and I pushed it into my under my melanin. That's why I can pay off the debts to the extraterrestrials if I have my gold. Fort Knox, if I have my gold. If I don't have my gold, I get bumps. I get bumps. If someone is stealing from me, either energy, time, resources, gold, money, my face acts up, my skin acts up. I'm allergic to people being fake to me. I'm allergic to it. And if I be in a fake environment too much, the hate of the other person, ding, always make me ding. People, people push me to the limit so that my melanin activates and you can steal out of the purse. When you anger somebody or make them upset or make them think too much about contacts of relationships and stuff, you can steal. This is what an energy vampire is good at. It isn't until I cashed in my 401k with Jesus, said I'm not working anymore, that they started paying me fairly in the spiritual world for talking to you guys with these people because I said I'm not going to pay to tell y'all what's going on and y'all don't listen. I said, they're saying this, you guys call me crazy. I said, they're saying this, you guys call me crazy. And then when I excommunicate the men and I only have my babies under me, I don't have any of the guys under me. The only ones that I have under me is the ones that understood their Christ seeds, right? These are Christ seeds. If you believe that there is a light inside of you, that's it. That's Christ. I have a light inside of me. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. You got a light inside of you. You are under Mary. You light a candle and rosaries and stuff like that. All you are is grounding, grounding communication with God, almost playing the tides of an ocean. Monks do it. They just count the beads, count the beads, count, count. Even if you're just putting it in a circle, you're contributing to motion. You're contributing to us being able to restart our ship. See, look. 1, 2, 3. It's the waves. So these entities, we got a lot of them, are saying which ones are okay to take over, right? So I say, here is the book of life. Learn it, read it. If you mess with any of these people in this book of life, under this guide, then we have a galactic issue. And this is a new treaty, a different treaty. I no longer do treaty with primal communication, it's heavenly communication, right? So they ask me, they're like, which ones are off limits? So I'm like, okay, if they have a light and they're green, then they are mine and my husband. However, if they're on this red, this means they're fair game. What's the red? And how did you get there? Red is a virtual hell. So, if you ever think of Dante's Inferno, the seven layers of hell, once you get to the bottom, it's where you've already fallen. That means you didn't even try to bring your consciousness up to your crown chakra. You didn't even try. Like the bottom of the pit of hell is reserved for Lucifer's, or not even Lucifer's, is reserved for the worst. And I mean, like, they didn't even try to read about a crystal or take the earth serious. It's like when you go to a doctor as a black woman. Hey, doctor, I got a headache. Oh, it's probably just take some aspirin. They're so used to not listening to us. Okay, so I do this. Innocence. If you go to the doctors as a black woman, you have to act in your innocence. You have to be a young girl, almost, and kind. You have to be forcible in certain areas without taking off the nurses. You got to monitor your own health and give them forewarnings when you feel that it's necessary. So you have to doctor a doctor when it comes to you. As a black woman going into the medical field right now, I'm glad that we're changing our standards of care for people of color because they actually run the machines. A vaccine acts differently in black skin than it does in skin that's not protected by UV rays. UV rays is a microwave for brain matter. If the UV rays are really high, if the UV rays are hella high and you don't have sunscreen or spiritual sunscreen, I mean protection from your mother or your father, you're basically cooking when you go out in the sun like a vampire. But at night, when everything goes down, you're more likely to survive outside. So these entities know that. So they ask who controls the sun. So I've been controlling the sun, uh, partially moon sometimes. And when he sleep in his dimension, he controls the sun and the moon when I'm asleep. So this has been this way for a long time. And every quarter century, we could be on eclipse mode, right? So eclipse moon is I'm up at sun and I'm asleep at night. He's up at sun and he sleeps at night. And that last time 500 years is or 600 counting slavery. That was a dream while he was asleep. Do you know what I mean? All of that was his dream. The government, the his whole life was a dream. Yeah. And he woke up on our eclipse time and he looks around and he's like, why? Like almost like waking up from consciousness. He's like, why am I here? Where's my wife? So these entities here turn off the system. They're here to turn off the system because it's no longer galactically feasible. We have to phase out the old system. So New York was 2 seconds from being in an international galactic conflict with some highly civilized spacemen, right? We have to play a game that's not corrupted on our land. Because if you go over there, they corrupting it with Santeria magic, Ifa magic. They come over here, and my kids ain't allowed to play in the dark too long. Do you know what I mean? Like they're not allowed to dabble in magic until they go to school to understand the power of the tongue. They gotta go through root chakra courses. They gotta go through heart chakra courses. All of the idiots saved heart chakra for last. And I know that the hardest thing to balance is your heart chakra. The hardest thing. I made sure that I divvied up a little bit of love chakra activation throughout many spans of time to use it as a pressure valve to push me into the new generation, right? New generation, you never get old. Your vessel never get old. If you want to keep this vessel, you can. You can unzip these machines and walk out it in your spacesuit. You can walk around in your black body and time travel. You can go see Kurt Cobain's concert in one of his first ones in your black body. You can hang out with Jimi Hendrix in his solo sessions in his mind. You get access to the deepest part of consciousness because you decided, I don't want to play the games. I just want to feel loved. Like someone told me the stupidest thing I've ever done is follow and what she said, the stupidest thing you did was follow and think that you could find love with him, with Hosier, Andrew Hosier. They they like demolished me with their words. They're like, you're, look at how you are and blah blah, and then just stuff. And these were the dark thoughts over here and over here. But, I wasn't phased. But I looked at it from a perspective and said, if I didn't start liking him like that, I would have been hoe. And you know, I wouldn't have been on my heart chakra shit at all. I would have found some tech billionaire just made babies and popped out honey if he needed it, just giving, just super giving until I had no more. And then I would have lost all my kids, all my seeds, all my husband's seeds. Every husband I've had in the past life, I got his seeds. Literally, I like have seed banks of each one of my husbands. So I can go back to 4th century BC China and make sure that the Chinese is good. I can go back Vietnam, 1963, make sure those seeds are good, right? I could make sure to navigate and make sure that all of his seeds are saved. Isn't that just a kind thing to do? Right? Like I'm not doing it because I need to be with him. And he he my husband in the spirit realm. I have his back. That's it. I don't have to be on top of him to have his back. Just have his back. Just because it's my friend. In the spirit realm, that's my friend. And I want to make sure that my friend is protected. If it starts raining, I'll probably just put a halo around his head so no rain gets on him. That's thoughtful to me. Why is it not raining where he is? Right where he is, but it's raining all around him. It's a pressure valve. You push that, then everything around you dies. That is my red button. That is my nuclear war. That's Shiva. That's my nuclear warhead. Like, literally, if you fuck with them, like, if you fuck with my kids, I don't care if you the biggest alien on our block. You know, I don't care. I got kids in Jamaica that I'm like, oh, I don't want to protect, you know. But if I take 2 or 3 good men and put angels underneath those men, the bad men go away. They disappear. So it's like, if these people, excuse me, if these entities are coming this close to me, we are that close to the end of everything. They only intervene like this bad, if something really, really, really bad is about to happen. So us winning against this is like winning a court case. When we win in sports, I didn't even know USA had a soccer team. I'm all like, go Brazil. I love you, Mexico. I was like, well, there's some beautiful young men on these teams. Shout out to Africa and Court de Prince. Where is that from? Man, they is boy. Oh my gosh. I was like, where y'all been hiding all the niggas at? Where they been at? My favorite is the one that popped out with the leopard on. I was like, ugh, God, that's so nice looking, guys. I had to get a shout out to my sons. So we have yeah. So if I didn't like him like that, chillax, bitch. Damn. If I didn't like him like that little deeply, then I wouldn't have been the same person that I am. You know, it's not that I was expecting anything of him, of back from him. I wanted, I wanted, I wanted, and I continue to express that I want the people that I care for, their arts and stuff, I want it to be preserved. You know, I feel like in my mind, I created the ancient Kemet system through time to realign us to make the right decisions. Yes, I kind of nudged you guys a little bit to be like, yo, go here, do this, collective consciousness. But in the end, if you're all on one collective consciousness, they can't steal your soul. People are like, oh, no one can own your soul. Where do you think slavery started? Where do you think slavery started? And why we had to bleach that out of our genetics? Why? because during the first original alien invasion, they took over the programming. So, in order to colonize a mind, you have to program it to not react when it needs to react. So, it takes away the fight or flight mechanism in the human condition and brain by overdiagnosing it with traumatic tags, right? So, if you say, I am this, it adds on to your tag, you know, it adds on to something else in your system. But if you say, okay, well, I am a God, oh, that's going to have to align you with godlike behavior. All right, I am a God. Let's see where this goes, right? When that rubber band hits back and you said that you are a God, you must know you are a God. You must believe it down to the core that you are a God. You have to. Otherwise, who are you in the next cycle? Where do you go from here? You're a title champion winner in New York. The high will go down after a while. What happens when the high goes down? When a junkie get what they want after a long time, what is the bounce back protocol? What's the bounce back protocol after you get a fix? After a junkie gets a fix, how do the emotions react? You're going to look for your next hit, right? You're going to dive deeper into politics. You're going to dive, it happens every time. It's like a traumatic glitch for you guys. Or are you going to say, fuck what they doing, let's do better? They got a government, cool. Make your own fucking head of whatever. Make your new nation. Start building your new nation, not off of the old ones that's fallen, based on your principles and your values. Change your schooling protocol. Hype up a new sport for the girls. Change flight. We no longer gotta fly on these motherfucking big ass machines. We gonna have something different, but create it. Imagine it. Start creating your art in nature. Will make it easier for your dreams to come true into fruition. You don't gotta go to a bank and say, I need $500,000 for a house. What is the house that you want? Okay, cool. Here's an agreement, okay? Don't damage it a bunch. It's yours, but take care of it because it's on a portal. You wouldn't know that, but it matches your portal, so it'd be easy for if your husband wishes to go through the time loop, he could be an airplane pilot, you know? So you have to woo your wife, you know? It's a new world. In order for you to have a ticket to get to where you're going, you need to be grounded in feminine nature. You can only stay on your mom's insurance for, you know, until you're big enough to fly. After you're done flying and you've conquered the world, visit your mother, visit your father, and give back to your nation. Whatever goal that I have that could save the sun in your direction. Okay, well, who won the last game here? This is, tons of gold. Thanks, Scotland, for giving me a best friend. you know, take this gold with you to your climate and it will always be sunny. I appreciate you. Who's first, but to still get money. they'll still get gold enough to pay for the sun at least. It's just certain places that was real disrespectful. I will not be paying for the electricity. Even if it's on my own land, I will not fix the hole in that climate until your collective consciousness is on kindness and love and what Jesus said. What did Jesus say? Don't be afraid. If a fucking entity comes in your house, don't be afraid. They're all here. There's a lot of them. Usher them out, say you can't be here. We're protected. Cool. But if you start hitting and beating up the entities in the dark while you're tripping, then you have a problem because you've violated the custody agreement. You can't hit or kill one of these entities. The guns don't work on them. The next batch that they're sending out, they're gonna fuck with your guys' consciousness so bad. So bad. It's gonna be like living in a mental hell. But because we're not collectively on that bullshit that they're on, that they're on, please connect. Screen instructions. Girlfriend. I just need an upright. Oh, I have girl. What was I talking about? So basically, if we have any disputes between energies, we have to have lawyers. Back in the day, these are the people that know the law between intergalactic stuff. This is the men in black, the suits and the tie and the glasses. That's a lawyer for that person. Intergalactically, there are certain agents that are projecting from the back, and there's a character in front, but they're projecting from the back. They don't want to be seen too much in the light, so they use vessels. And these are the vessels sometimes that people sold their souls. That you could play a character, their character, right? To make it better. Go back here. What do you want to know about this? So me and my husband originally, Eagles, go back to Eagles. We are sitting on a branch to have therapy. We're talking to the sun, then we're talking to the moon, we're talking back to each other, the phones, and we're having a therapy session from a high key. High key. So we're sitting on the branch, Jackie and Shadow, and we have basically gone back to primal. So feeding the family. Okay, don't talk about it. Another entity. Hold on. Tagging. There's a gold bubble around my house. They can't get in, but if so within, so without, as above, so below. So this is gold. Your melanin in the dark glistens gold. Yeah, it glistens. So the gold has to stay here, right? So we can have the why I wear gold chains to activate the melanin, to make it stronger, to make the bubble around our universe stronger. That's why I wear gold. Not because I'm rich and I'm going to show off my wealth, but I could do diamonds. And when I wear diamonds, I can project it to the sky and change the dreams and change dreams in the sky for the children below. So they don't let me have my diamonds. Depending on the color of the diamond that I wear, I can shift in and out of different parts of the sea, the ocean, and then I can filter my melanin and pay for filter energy. I'm like, I'm like really connected to the earth. Like I study her more than anyone in the whole world, earth. I study her. And I move where she tells me to, like where it hurts. Sometimes I can hear her crying. The earth itself, I can hear it crying like it was a baby and need to be held. So I would go here, there, wherever, put my hands on the earth. I'd hug a tree. Yeah. I turn myself into a dog and, you know, yeah, it's like a mirror image. Yeah. hmm So the only way to get through this whole thing intact is love. Like literally, Jesus was right about it. Jesus was right. If you fell in love and you like gained the respect of unions, if you made like finding love your main priority, like that was your, if you made finding love your priority and that was your main goal in the world, most likely you passed all your classes. Most likely you passed your death doula course. You can't get through death over and over and over without love. It wakes you up from your amnesia. Love does. And I loved a lot. As you guys can see, I was always pregnant. I was pregnant in Gemini season. I was pregnant in Scorpio season. I was pregnant in Sagittarius. I was pregnant in Gemini. I already said Gemini. I was pregnant in Cancer. I was pregnant in Virgo season. I was pregnant. I was pregnant in. I was pregnant in every season. Because I have to birth you guys on this plane in order for you guys to have a seat at the table of intergalactic stuff. It's a it's my way of giving you guys a first class seat in galactic progress. So now I get to take you guys out of the system, which I'm nervous about that part. You mean you're nervous? Okay. Well, I'll continue right now. Okay. Pretty soon, we're all going to be on the same schedule. We're not all going to be opposite schedules. So, yeah, we're all going to be on one schedule and one accord until the galactic energies leave, right? It's like locusts. They come, they eat everything, they leave. The same thing is they come, they completely burn everything down, Babylonian, the lore, and then they close that door in that chapter. And they continue to take those other entities that weren't in there, that weren't seeking higher frequencies, and they keep them in that program. That's hell. That is what hell is supposed to be, because they're no longer on God's server. They're on their own because they didn't have no religion. They didn't have a God. They thought they were the God for the nation instead of humbling themselves to be like, I am a God, but I'm also learning. How many times is learning in the book? I'm learning. So we're gonna reveal the darkness. And that means if your imagination is lacking, it will flip you out when you see these entities. If you didn't slowly microdose in DMT chart, no. If you didn't slowly do it, like this is gonna be wild for you. But if you're crazy, that doesn't matter what you're saying. You lived in New York City where there are some wild things you've seen, you know? So, hmm yeah. Definitely. I think falling in love with um, Andrew was a lifesaver. I think it was a lifesaver. It saved me. Um, and I think a lot of women would say that. For a lot of the sons that I've been, you know, they're, sometimes crass and bitter and mean, but after that sting goes away of their bark, they're back to being soft, kind creatures. But they have to establish their boundaries and their dominance of their own emotional independence. They can't be attached to mommy's boobies every, we're older now. Benjamin has to leave the house. My sons grow up and they have to leave Rumspringer because father doesn't let boys and men end up me too much. Not because he's jealous, but because he understands. He understands. There can't be too many men around. Cause I fall in love just a little every day with someone. And love with every stranger, the stranger the better. So what they were doing is they were playing Clue and Parliament and Clue and to figure out who's the bad guy. And you guys had to get it right. And figure out who the bad guy is. It gives you a whole bunch of scenarios. Can you spot the bad guy? So some of you figured it out. Yeah, falling in love with him was like the best decision in my life. Yeah. And it's not because I want something and I need something. No. It was because without understanding why my heart was doing what it was doing, like my heart was dancing and singing and all these things. I'm just looking at myself in awe. Like, what a beautiful, magnificent. That's me. That's me in love. That's me in pain. That's that's me in arousal. You know? And so like seeing those moments of myself interacting with his soul, I love me. I love how much I love, you know, how dorky I am, how funny, creative, sexy that I am when I look at him. You know, so then after that, I was like, okay, that was fun. You know, like I get it. I understand stroking ego. I get it. But then, like after this is done, and I go back to myself, do I feel empty or do I feel full? And that's another thing that, as a woman, I would want my daughters to know. Like when you're done making love to your husband, do you feel empty or do you feel full? Do you feel embarrassed? Like you just lusted after something quickly and ate it and it was not all it's cracked up to be? Or, you know what? Why is it feels like he's stealing from you every time you guys like if you make love and then you argue right after or something like that, that wasn't an intimate interaction. That was not intimacy. That was a dog humping your leg, trying to get in the door, barking at the fucking mailman on the other side. That was not. But if you're done and you feel the presence of Christ, love, you don't feel like embarrassed or like there was a sinister energy that you guys were siphoning from each other. It just feels light, airy, and like almost like you were given grace, you were given goodness, you were given without being stolen from all the time. Because men will siphon your energy through emotional conflict. Men will siphon your energy from emotional conflict and then use the energy of sexual intercourse with you to establish dominance over your emotions, to establish dominance over your emotions by emotional neglect, emotion, emotional ignorance. Like the worst people in the world to me are those who are emotionally retarded. I think we need to put them in cages. I think so. Because if you can't emotionally open up to somebody about your urges, needs, lusts, greed to somebody, then I think that is, you can have, you can put emotional neglect on somebody else because you don't understand your own emotion. And I think being emotionally neglectful is the worst. It's the worst, akin to being in a hell of my own making. Because half of these babies, they're like young kids emotionally. In a 45-year-old man body, but emotionally he's stunted because whatever the factors are in his garden wasn't able to thrive because he was so used to being coddled because he knew how to dance good or he knew how to rap so the girls liked him, so pretty boys, you know, And then when that gets into that direction, they're obviously gonna start trying a bunch of shit because they're like, yo, I need to figure out you know, m- I need to figure out my sexuality. I need to figure that out. Like it's so hard. Like it's so hard. It's not hard. Do you love yourself? Are you kind to yourself? Do you want that reflected in a partner so you can bear seed on earth? The heart seed does not have to be from your own womb, your wife's own womb, but in order to get paid out in dividends by the mother, you have to bring her seed from the fruit trees to farm to table, right? You gotta love your wife enough to reach for the stars to get a baby that is a ancient, you know, tall gray or an ancient this or the tall whites have so many Swedish, German, mixed in DNA types of. This is the ones that try to stay off of ancestor DNA. They gotta stay off of it because it's like, yo, if you go digging, you're gonna find out that you're a part of an ancient galactic union that you were supposed to marry the king of this old world civilization. But because you were in school, you know, on Earth course, you're not gonna get married because on my plane, you have to be in love, right? We don't go galactic treaty shit and sell our women to aliens. That's slavery. When she got married to you know, something sold from her tribe to their tribe, that's not good. My daughters lead with their heart chakra, and that's how we protect our families, our heart chakra. So if they're coming over here talking about we're gonna marry your women and breed with them and shit, that's why we have some issues. If your heart chakra isn't lined up with her chakra, we don't believe in that. That's just playing with somebody for 10 years, 13 years, 14 years, and then realizing it's fucked up. Yeah, okay. So, I want you guys to have faith in love. Listen to Jesus' teachings about everything. He be spot on most of the time. There hasn't been a lot of like situations where I'm like, oh, I don't like what Jesus said. I feel like he was pretty spot on with his words. And if you follow that closely without marking your boundaries, so you can have faith in something and, faith in the unknown, extraterrestrial or other. Just have an imagination so that what you see walking down the road will not shock you. That's it. But a lot of um a lot of our teachings only gone only people heard because something weird is happening and they can't explain it. Like there's something different in the air, but no one wants to talk about it. No one wants to breathe too hard because they feel like they'll get called out by something. And the entities that are over Washington, D.C., and very political climates, I pray that you're not around a lot of fake people because if I had it my way, I'll rapture you guys in your dreams first and then rapture your flesh. I wouldn't want you guys to be privy to any of this. I would want full disclosure. This is what's about to happen. Please hold on tight, but I got this. And I will cover you guys and I will fight tooth, skin, nail, bone. Every me and your father will fight for you guys. He's a lawyer in his own universe. I'm a lawyer in my universe. I can I can lay down the law to any intergalactic treaty shit. And I know that for a fact. I've written many cultures for other people. I've written many cultures for other alien cultures. I'm I have the back end of the code to a lot of cultures in their alien lore. And I would use that in a court of our law to show that we are, you know, traveling circus. This is my menagerie. Please, if you want, we can fight and I can let them out the cage, but they're pretty fierce beings, you get the lions and the this and the tigers and the bears, and a couple cheetahs, and they'll they'll do anything to protect their earth as well. Anything. Mm, Because we all scrappy. Scrappy do. We're all scrappy. So if shit hit the fan, you know, the apocalypse or something intense like that happens, I know my kids are gonna be okay. They've watched Star Trek, they've watched Star Wars. Check. Those are classes. The ring, Lord of the Ring is a class. Dungeons and Dragons is a class. Just because it wasn't under school for nerds or school for, you know, having, you know, an affinity for Superman, for Green Lantern. That's not, those are classes. Thank you. You don't have to play Harry Potter to be Harry Potter. You know what I mean? You don't have to act out Harry Potter to just be Harry Potter. The only reason you want it to be projected is because either you want to help, or hinder. And if you are here to hinder my kids' imagination from growing, we're going to go to war. Some nations go to war in basketball, some nations go to war in soccer. Intergalactically, you can use sports to go to war, right? To preserve the innocence of the children at bay. But if you go to war, if you have war, you have to make sure that you're on the book of life. So you don't perish. I can restart your guys' vessel from here. Yeah, for a second you ain't gonna have an arm or a leg, but I will regrow it. I have a lot of magic for these vessels. I have a lot of it, but they stole it from me. And now they're coming, bringing back the magic, and I'll get it back. And the first thing I'm gonna do with my magic is heal kids with cancer, dude. Oh my god, that's the worst. And preemie babies. I think those are my and mothers with breast cancer. I think those, depending on how the games go, I'm gonna have to get my license to take care of little people. That means um, I'm a death doula. Now I want to be a light doula. So like I have to be a birth doula. I have to help animals and humans of the planet bring new birth into it. So I was working on it with the eagles. I was in class. So I channel eagles to bring down the consciousness from higher states of consciousness into the eagles to ground them into the United States of America. Wherever an eagle is born, there is a copy of my children. Yeah, but some didn't make it to eagle status. Eagle status is very high up there. Some people made it to bunny status under their father. Some people made it to, let's say, they made it to crow status. That's another status. But normally, if you get your wings as an angel, you get your wings as a crow, and then you get your wings as an eagle. So it's like a step up. So breaking down, um, if I gave, mhm, mm, yeah, I mean, if I did, see, the women all want to know about my love life, but the men want to know about the technical. So I try to weave in technical, non-technical stuff in to see how you guys react, right? But the women want to go towards love, and the men want to go towards knowledge of technical stuff. So how do we get onto one accord? We're all in this is a disunion. Yeah. Okay. How about this? Date night. Like you issue a date night in your household. This is the night where he has to plan. He has to put in effort. One night a week is fine. He has to put in effort and not just ask you what do you want to do. He has to listen to you, understand your likes and your needs, and take you out on a date or whatever. The most romantic I will give the first spaceship to. This man will be the first one outside of my union to fly a spaceship with his mind. There's already out there people trying to control spaceships with their mind, but I will give you the front row package just by loving your wife, just by taking care of her. You'll be first. And it'll be your lineage that will be written about in future Bibles. The kinder you are to her, The more patient that you were to her in your old world union, that's going to be based on how much you're getting. If you gave me my daughter's heartbreak, turmoil, stress, you got it. One ball of stress. Here you go. Next. Can I get a 5 piece? A 5 piece with a biscuit and some mashed potatoes or some mac and cheese. Okay. Give me your ticket. Oh, unfortunately, your rating isn't high enough for that. You get this. Can I get some dog food? Here you go. Kibbles and bits. Thank you. You want to feed the soul of the man? Do you want to feed the soul of the man? Then stop acting like dogs. Just because he doesn't know how to communicate, don't act like a bitch. Just let him be. Tell me and I'll figure it out. You know, it's not worth fighting in front of the kids. Kind of traumatizes them. Yeah, trust me, I know. I'm still getting hate mail from Jackie and Shadow calling it quits. They're like, oh, you can't give up. Can't just give up. You have to go to court. You have to go to therapy. So now I got eagles in therapy. Remote Tony Soprano. Said whatever happened to Gary Cooper. The strong silent type. Gary Cooper was gay, Tony. He was gay. I don't strong silent type. I was just looking about. I mean, they're shiny. Want to be dry. Am I pregnant? Yes. Again? Yeah. Because most of the singers are just quarterbacks. You know what I mean? Most of these guys are just quarterbacks. Written by someone else in the back. Uh-huh. There we are. We got a huge portal open in Italy. Italy, there's a huge portal open. Uh, well, they're taking the people in the Vatican away. Oh, they're in handcuffs. Oh, shit. Oh, they're taking Bill Gates. Oh, my God. They're taking him away. They're gone. We can start over. Now what? I get the keys. Thank you. Telling you, thank you. I got the United States, and then I have a few sons over here and their daughters. Okay, if they win their game, me protect them 1st. But I'm not putting it all on sports. I'm just using it as a catalyst to sew up the sky, block the asteroid. They're directed, like direct energy weapons. The way I threw those things through space, I'd be scared. I'm scared. Hypocrisy. Hypocrisy. I go to bed. I tired. I tired. Last question. Last communication. I honestly believe that love saved my life. Um, the type of love that's mm, it's not built on this grandeur like cause of emotional need or physical need. It like thrived in the environment that didn't water it. It had enough water in itself through the tears, through the anger, through the, all of the emotions that I alchemize through the love that I have. I know that it'll bear fruit because in my forgiveness, I've moved the sun and I turned it down in my forgiveness. But in my hotness and my heatedness, if this directs at you, then that forgiveness has been like given a lot, but I no longer wish to continue giving. At some point, I realize you're stealing from me, and I have to create boundaries. And sometimes my spiritual boundaries is pretty intense. So I fall in love and I save. If I fall in love with you, I save your energy. I save your seeds, even the ones you tossed in the toilet. I save them. The lowest hanging fruit that someone says is rotten, I attempted my best to bring it back to life and give it new hope to be a brighter flower on the tree, and when it blossoms, provide the sweetest fruit. The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice, the harder the pain that you went through, the wine tastes better in the end. So keep your head up, keep your head up, keep believing. Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. Street lights, people. Winter is here again, oh Lord. Haven't been home in a year or more. I hope she holds on a little longer. But that wheel in the sky keeps on turning. Spirit medium. I don't rap, brother. I'm headed there now. Are you strapped, brother? Peacemaker, but I'm not naive, brother. Gotta watch your homies, police, brother. Clout chasing, a hell of a disease, brother. I'm fasting 4 hours a week, brother. I pray to God that you realize it. Entourage is dead. I probably not. I pray she brought understand them cobble trips don't last forever. Bitch, you arguing with your mama? Go and get them kids. Thoughts and prayers way better on timeline. It's not cute. I'm mortified. Just like rare is this love. Keep it covered, you know. Run to me. I'm done. Good night. Bye. I love you, your mama, and your daddy, and your Goosey Goosey Granny.